Now to a News4JAX I-Team investigation. The initial results of a state commission audit found Florida's prison system is unsustainable without significant changes and billions of dollars in investment. The state budgeted $5 million for the audit, which is being conducted by global consulting firm KPMG. I-Team investigator Ann Maxwell dug into what the audit shows and the solution it recommends.
The consultants have spent 15 months looking at the Florida Department of Corrections. They found without a change of course, Florida prisons could be headed for crisis. Crumbling infrastructure, staffing shortages, and a prison population that's expected to grow, converging into critical challenges for the Florida Department of Corrections.
Unfortunately, like a lot of other systems, Florida is now facing a bit of a perfect storm.
Consultants shared the preliminary results of a 20-year plan for Florida prisons with state senators at a committee hearing last week and laid out what could happen if something doesn't change.
The consequences can be dire and can be very expensive, and I think the biggest one is it can actually erode your public safety system.
They said the state could face the risk of forced releases of inmates, lawsuits, and even federal takeover of prisons. The consultants' work also highlights the risks of aging infrastructure in Florida prisons and the lack of air conditioning in 75% of housing units.
I was just appalled.
Connie Edson sat in on the Senate committee hearing last week. She became an advocate for air conditioning in Florida prisons after she learned about the issue when a loved one was incarcerated. She and the consultants note a lack of AC makes it harder to hire and retain correctional officers.
And you're just sweating and drenched. You can't possibly do the job that you've been hired to do.
The audit found there's been around a 25% staff turnover rate in recent years, which last year contributed to more than 85,000 shifts left unfilled at below emergency staffing levels. Edson says she thinks lawmakers should consider incarcerating fewer people and expanding options like house arrest.
These are just people we could look at that we could solve this really huge problem that we have, and we have to have a solution.
The consultants are planning on finalizing their report in December. Right now, they're recommending an investment of between $6 and about $12 billion into Florida prisons over the next 2 decades. These are just options they're presenting. Any changes will need to be made by lawmakers. Reporting from Jacksonville, Ann Maxwell, Channel 4, the local station.